Good morning everyone, welcome to the official YouTube channel of Officers at 24/7. How are you all guys? So this is our session back to basic series for IE IFS subject that we are having Monday to Friday only on Officers at 24/7 in the morning 7:30 AM. Okay, apart from that, if I'm talking about the dedicated batch to prepare for your JAIIB preparation, it have been started from 20th of November. If you guys are looking for a particular batch or particular platform, where you will get everything. The conceptual classes, the practice test, topic-wise practice test, full-length practice test, apart from that, the ebooks, everything. If you need one stop solution, that's available only on Adda 24/7. So you can check. In the end, I will show you how to enroll in a particular batch that is started from the 20th of November. So let's start the session. Before starting the session, do let me know is audio, video both are okay? Are we good to go? And also, this is the session. This is the second part of infrastructure, including the social infrastructure unit number 5 of your module A. As we know, there are total 45 modules. Sorry, there are total 4 modules and 45 units. Out of those 45 units, we have 11 units in the module A. Out of that 11 unit, this is our 5th unit, that is the infrastructure, including social infrastructure. Unit number 5, class number 13. And if I talking about unit number 5, this is the second part of unit number 5. Okay, let's start. So in the last class, I have told you about the infrastructure. What is infrastructure? So I have told you infrastructure is a foundation of economic growth. If you want to grow your economy, if you want to have economic growth, you have to increase more and more production in the country. When you increases the production in the country, it means more goods and services have been produced in the country. That increases your GDP and that increases your economic growth. But now, when economic growth will be increased, when you have a proper infrastructure, only producing goods is not sufficient. You have to transfer that goods to the end location of the consumer. If you are not having those transfer infrastructure available, you won't be able to make the goods available to the end user of the product. Sorry. You won't be able to make the goods available for the consumer. And if you want to do that, you have to have an infrastructure. Okay. Okay. So if you want to make the product available for the end user, you have to have roadways, railways, airways, seaways, some kind of transportation so that you can make the product available to the consumer. Okay, and that's why the infrastructure is the foundation of the economic growth. Apart from that, infrastructure also helps you out in the economic development, as the infrastructure development is the large scale development and the long-term development, so it needs a large-scale capital as well that will be available with the infrastructure investment that helps out the economic development to have a capital stock. Now, what is economic development? We have discussed in the last class. Economic development is simply when, because of the GDP increasing, because of the more production in the country, when you're producing more goods and services in one financial year, your GDP increases. Because of the increase of that GDP, because of the increase in the production, if you find a certain positive changes in your economy, and if you find out the certain positive changes in your economy, that is known as your what? Your economic development. So when you have a positive changes, like employment is increasing, poverty is reducing, literacy rate is increasing, infrastructure development is there, in that situation you will find the economic development that actually helps to change the life of the people, right? So that's what we have a economic development. That all we have discussed. Apart from that, we have also discussed the types of infrastructure, the hard infrastructure, soft infrastructure, critical infrastructure, water management infrastructure, energy infrastructure, the green infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, urban infrastructure, etc. All this we have covered in the last class. So now, today we are going to take that particular topic forward. So this is the total units in your module A. We are discussing the unit number 5, that is infrastructure, including the social infrastructure. Okay, now let's start. So Now today we are going to talk about the ESG. What does ESG stand for? It stands for Environment, Social, Governance. Now what is it? If we are studying infrastructure, how does environmental, social or governance is there? What ESG is doing there? So ESG is a part of infrastructure. Let's talk about first the CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility. Let's talk about CSR, then we will come to the ESG, then we will link ESG and infrastructure, how they are together linked to each other. Now, if I'm talking about corporate social responsibility, what is it? Every corporate have some social responsibility towards the society. Let's say, for example, Adda 24/7 is an edtech company. So while we are taking here classes, we have a proper studio, we have a lot of lights here, we have a cameras, we have a laptops, we have a computers, we have this screen, the board, all this we have. So we are providing services to our students. Our students are the consumer of our business, I can say. So somehow we are a service provider company. We are providing services. By providing the services, a lot of students are getting selected for the competitive paper. They are getting promotion in their job. They are getting increment in their salary. A lot of things are there. But there are certain societies. So we are helping you out in your career, right? In your growth. But there are certain people in the country who are not preparing for the government exam, who are not preparing for the bank, their promotion exams. They are not preparing for their increment exams. They are not doing any such kind of things. So let's say they are not consumer of arts. Let's say your parents are not consumer of arts. My parents are not the consumer of Adda 24/7. So, but still, they have to suffer because of what we are doing in Adda 24/7. Now, what does it mean? It means we are using a lot of electricity that is somehow definitely harms the environment, right? Let's say you are studying. If you are studying, you are using a copy pen, for example. If you are using a copy pen, you also harm the environment. The more copies you are using to study, to write down the content or whatever you are doing, the more you impact the environment in a negative sense. But these are the kind of things which is required to be done in the economy. So what we need, you are doing your work, you are not doing nothing, you are not doing anything wrong. You are doing, Adda 24/7 is doing nothing wrong. It is providing services, it making the lot of students in the country to achieve their goal, to achieve their dream, to have a good life, to have a financial independence. So it is not doing anything wrong, but somehow it impacts, while providing services to its consumer, it impacts the environment. That somehow have the negative impact on the society of the country. So Adda 24/7 have a certain corporate social responsibility for those society people who are not consumer of arts. So what we have to do, we have to give something in return to them that will help them out to reduce, or to not the, we cannot eliminate fully, but we can reduce the loss, we can reduce the negative impact. So we are doing corporate social responsibility. The banks do it, banks do it, the other corporates does it. Everybody, every company have to do it, corporate social responsibility. So in corporate social responsibility, you might be doing plantation, you are having a lot of plants, you have a certain targets on every Sunday. The team, you are asking your employees to come to the office, and from the office you are going a certain location, you are doing a plantation. Maybe you are cleaning a particular area by having your employees, by having your team. Maybe you are providing, maybe we are providing free education to the poor people, the poor students. Maybe we are providing in the orphanage, we are providing certain help to those students. So somehow, this company is a corporate, this corporate have a social responsibility, and a certain way every corporate is actually performing their social responsibility. And these are the three major areas which actually help us, or which actually a kind of a modern way to achieve your corporate social responsibility: environmental, social and governance. So a lot of investors are there. When you invest in something, let's say I am a very big investor. When I am investing in something, when I am going to invest in something, first I check that that particular investment is related to ESG or not. If it is related to ESG, I am fulfilling my CSR, I will be easily able to invest in there because it is not going to harm, है ना? So that's what the ESG is. I hope it's clear. Now let's take the theory also, let's read the theory also, it will make it more clear. So ESG has gained a foothold among the stakeholder and is considered a modern dimensions of corporate social responsibility. It's what? It's a modern dimension of a corporate social responsibility. What is ESG is? Okay. Apart from that, let's move to the next. What the next paragraph is saying, ESG refers to the three most essential factors which determine the long-term and ethical impact of a business or a company investment. Hana, so what we are talking about here, simply we are saying when we talk about the ESG, Hana, when we talk about the ESG, what actually the ESG is doing? What actually the ESG is doing? ESG refers to those three. Hana, ESG refers to those three most essential factors that determine the long-term and ethical impact of a business or a company investment. So let's say environmental, social and governance. These are the three most essential factors. If the investment you are going to do is related to any of these three factors, it became ethical. It means the investment you are doing, the business you are doing, it's working. It's social responsibility in the market. It means what? It means simply you are doing a kind of investment that is environment friendly. Hana, like now we started calculating green GDP. We talk about the green infrastructure. What is this? We are simply trying to save the environment. We are focusing on the sustainable development. What is sustainable development? Use the resources in certain way that you will be able to fulfill your needs and the future generation also do not have to compromise with your needs. If all the resources will be utilized by us, what the future generation will do, how they will survive. So use the resources accordingly. That's what the sustainable development says. That's what we're talking about. Ethical means you are doing right thing for the major part of the society. That's the ethical impact. Now, the majority of social responsible investors use the ESG criteria to screen investment. Hana? A lot of those investors who are socially responsible, who feels like this is our responsibility to do something for the society, they use the ESG criteria. Hana? For what? To screen their investment. Before investing, they screen their investment, and if it is related to ESG, then they will be happy to invest in. Since customers are considered king in the Indian economy, Hana, banks are expected to treat them appropriately. Not only bank, every seller, we also have to treat you appropriately because you guys are customer of ours and you are the king of market. Earlier, we used to have seller-oriented market, like in the banks. How the seller-oriented market or customer-oriented market works in the banks, let's discuss that. When there used to be a seller-oriented market, we used to have money lenders. Banks were not used to be there. Or if the bank used to be there, they were not that much, it was not that much easy to have the banking services. Lot of restrictions, criterias, collateral, third-party guarantee, a lot of things used to be there. So it was not easy for me to take a loan from the bank, but it was easy for me to take a loan from the money lender because there was no restriction. Hana? So at that time, the seller was the king of the market. I was not the king of the market, the seller was. So whatever rate of interest money lender used to ask, I have to give that because I don't have option. Bank is not ready to give me the loan and no other one is not ready to give me the loan, but I need money. If I do not have money, I won't be able to produce the crops. And how I will survive, how my family will survive. So I have to take the loan from the money lender, whatever interest they ask for. Then whatever collateral they are asking, I have to give that as well. So this was the seller-oriented market in the banking sector context. Now the market is customer-oriented, for example. Now we have a lot of services of the banks. If you are not treating your customer very well, if you are not resolving the problems of the customer will directly shift to the private sector bank, let's say. In the public sector bank, the customer is not getting proper attention or proper services. If the customer have given a complaint, you are not resolving the complaint or some kind of thing, the customer will directly go to the other bank. Because it's all about the customer satisfaction now. Because the market is customer oriented. And the customer have lot of options. You have me as a customer, but I have SBI, PNB, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, let's say Bank of Baroda I have, let's say I have Axis Bank, whatever the banks I have. So I have a lot of banks option. So if you are not treating me as a customer well, I can go to the other bank. Because if you are providing savings account, they are also providing savings account. You are providing current account, they will also provide the current account. So, but they will be treating me well. They will be greetings me. They will be doing greetings. They will be asking what problem you are facing. They are resolving my problems in a very minimum time period. So it's very obvious. Now the customer oriented market it is. Customer market is this. So customer is a king. Accordingly, you have to treat the customer. And accordingly, the socially responsibility persons or investors know that we have a certain responsibility toward the society. If we work for the society, if we do something nice for the society, society will be a loyal customer of ours. And it will impact the profit and sales of a company. It's very obvious. Now, like if you know a particular company is there and that company is actually working ethically, so kind of a loyal relationship will be built between the company and a customer. If you became the loyal customer, you will be doing a positive word of mouth about the company to all your friends, to all your colleagues, or to all your relatives. And you will be giving the new clients to the particular company. And that's what the company wants. So presently, banks disclose diversity, data, human rights policies, and the LGBT equality in the workplace. So this is what Equality Bank is doing, Social Justice Bank doing. So with the corporate governance system in banks, the board of directors, the executive, they all act in the best interest of the long-term shareholder. So if someone is giving you money for the long-term period, it's very obvious you have to treat them well. Now, family welfare. The goal of the family welfare to stabilize the population. Always, whenever we talk about the family welfare, why we are doing family welfare? To control the population. To offer a high quality health services that will include the immunization of pregnant women and the children. Okay, so this is the objective. Now, in 1952, from 1951 to 1956, we have seen the first 5-year plan of the country that was introduced by the Planning Commission. So the first 5-year plan was introduced, and in the first 5-year plan in 1952, we have introduced the National Program for Family Planning. And it was also introduced to control the population at that time. And a lot of impact have been seen because of this. Since its inception, the family planning program has experienced significant policy programmatic development in the control of the population. We have seen that. Although in 2013, India became the most populated country, we have left China behind, but still, this family planning program have helped us a lot to control the population. Apart from that, the family welfare program stays to address a broader range of the healthcare requirement among India's general public. So, it covers what? It covers a certain fundamental premises of the family welfare program. First is acceptance of family welfare service is voluntary. Now, the question can be asked on this particular slide. They can simply ask a statement-based question that is asking, which of the following are correct about the fundamental premises of the family welfare program? They have given you two statements. The statement one is saying acceptance of family welfare services involuntary, and the second statement have been written similar, same as it is given in the book. So only this word have been changed. So after reading the both statement, you have to answer which statement is correct. So you have to answer that the second is correct, first is not correct. Because they, apart from voluntary, they have written the involuntary. And that's why it's very important to read each and every line. Because such kind of minor changes have been seen in the paper. They have taken the whole lines from the book of IIBF, but they have changed a minor thing. They have changed a single word, and the single word have changed the meaning of the topic. Sorry. So that's why everything have to be covered. So all these things are the part of the family welfare program fundamental premises. Now, a very important, now the last slide and this slide, they cover. From the last slide you can find the statement based question. From this slide you can find the one liner question. They can ask which of the following is the core and fundamental goal of the family welfare program. They can given you the option: educational development in the country, infrastructure development in the country, population management in the country, none of these. So answer should be population management, and this have been asked. Hana, this have been asked. One question have been asked on this, like why family welfare program have been introduced for the population management, to control the population of the country. We were introducing the family welfare programs. Clear? Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to official YouTube channel of Officers Adda 24/7. So I'm here with all of you to discuss the Back to Basics series for IE IFS for English medium candidates. So why we are having this session in the afternoon, the reason behind it, I was not able to take in the morning. That's why I have rescheduled it in the evening. So today only we are having at this particular time your session, and from tomorrow onwards, as usual, our regular time will be your 7:30. Okay, our regular timing is your 7:30 AM. So that will be the same for your IE IFS subject. Okay, do not worry about it. Now for today only I have rescheduled this in the evening. So let's start the session. As you know, in the last two sessions I have taken your class on infrastructure and including social infrastructure. That's your unit number 5. So we have completed the part of theory or the concept related to the unit number 5 in two parts. Hana, we have completed part 1 and 2 of this particular topic. Now what we are going to do today? Today we are going to cover the same chapter, the same unit, but in the form of MCQs. It means today we are going to discuss the questions on your infrastructure, including social infrastructure. Clear? I hope it's okay. So let's start the session. Before starting the session, do make sure you be active in the session. Apart from that, also make sure you answer the questions here. In the end of the session, I will be asking you all that how many answers you have given the correct. Apart from that, I will be here with all of you if you find any kind of query in any particular question. Let's say if you're watching a recorded session, you can also put your question in the comment section. I will be checking your comment and answering you. And also this session will be in the morning at 7:30 AM. Apart from that, I am starting PPB YT sessions as well. That will be starting from Monday in the morning at 7 AM. So 7 AM we are going to join the PPB YT sessions, and at 7:30 AM we are going to join the IE IFS YT session only on Officers Adda 24/7. Okay, Monday to Friday these sessions will be available for all of you. Chalo, now let's start with the first question. Before that, we know there are 4 modules, and out of those 4 modules, the module A have 11 units, and we are discussing the unit number 5, that is infrastructure, including social infrastructure. Chalo, let's start. So the first question in front of you is asking about that which among the following is not a hard infrastructure. Which among the following is not a hard infrastructure, you have to answer. Now what actually the hard infrastructure? What actually is a hard infrastructure? Hard infrastructure is simply a type of infrastructure which gives you the physical network. It provides you physical network to link the economy. It helps the economy to have a modern infrastructure development. Okay, this is what the hard infrastructure is. In the first part of this particular topic, we have discussed about the different types of infrastructure: solid, hard and soft infrastructure we have discussed. Apart from that, we have also discussed the critical infrastructure, the urban infrastructure, transportation infrastructure. We have covered, apart from this, the different types of infrastructure like your urban infrastructure. We have your environment infrastructure, that is a green infrastructure. We have discussed about your energy infrastructure, in which renewable energy will be a part. Water management infrastructure. So a lot of different types of infrastructure is there which are helping us out for the particular reason in the country. So here the hard infrastructure is a little bit different in comparison to soft. So the hard infrastructure provides us the physical network, helps us to have a communication or transportation in the country, because it covers your roads, railways, ports, airports, etc. So if I'm talking about roads, ports and airports, these three are hard infrastructure. But this healthcare is not a hard infrastructure. Why? Because there are certain types of infrastructure which are necessary to keep the economy running. And to keep the economy running, it is necessary that you will have your particular kind of infrastructure, that is healthcare. It means hospitals and all, schools and all, your financial system, banking and all. All these are the basic requirements, or I can say these type of infrastructures are the infrastructure which we are going to need everywhere, every time, to have the simple what we can call it, to have a system going on, to keep the system going on. So that's why healthcare will be a part of your soft infrastructure. So all those infrastructure which helps us, all those infrastructure which helps us to keep the economy running, that is known as your soft infrastructure. This is a part of soft infrastructure. So your right answer will be A option, that is your soft infrastructure, not a part of your hard infrastructure. So do remember the difference between both. Okay. Now the second question is talking about here, which among the following is not a green infrastructure? Not a green infrastructure. So green infrastructure is a kind of infrastructure which is helping us out, which is helping us out to have what? To have a proper understanding of the nature, or to understand the value of the nature. That's the green infrastructure. So the kind of infrastructure which gives you the idea that how the environment helps us, or what value it have in our lives. That's what the green infrastructure. It will cover your national park, your wildlife sanctuaries, your biodiversities, and apart from that your bird sanctuaries, wildlife sanctuaries, everything is a part of your green infrastructure. That's a natural infrastructure. But not the highway. National highway is not a green infrastructure, because national highway is not a type of infrastructure which let us know the value of environment. So right answer will be B. It's not a part of green infrastructure. Wildlife sanctuary, bird sanctuary, tiger reserve, national park, biodiversities, all these are the example of green infrastructure. So right answer will be here B. So national highways, they are the type of hard infrastructure. They are what? They are hard infrastructure. Next, globally today, India stands in renewable energy power capacity. So what's the rank of India in your renewable energy power capacity? So first of all, if I'm talking about, this is as per the book. This is as per book, because this kind of questions answer keep changing, because always you find certain reports are there going on. And now we have a certain reports every time. Different institutions are providing us a different reports. So it's a kind of question that is as per your book, what data the book have been given, accordingly we are discussing this question. Okay. So now if I talk about the rank of India, what is the rank of India, you let me know. I want to let you know, if we are talking about renewable energy, this is a part of your priority sector lending. And in the priority sector lending for the renewable energy, the target have been doubled. Now it is 30 crores. What it is? It is 30 crores that have been doubled by RBI. It means it used to be 15 crore, but now it is a 30 crores. You have to remember this as well. Apart from that, if the individual household wants to have a solar rooftop, they will be also eligible to take the loan under the PSL category, and that will be 10 lakh. Okay. Why we are giving them the loan? For the solar rooftop. So in a certain houses, I think you all have seen that on the roof of the houses there is a solar panels. So individual households also use the renewable energy for the electricity purpose of their. So that's why if individual household want to have the solar rooftop, they are allowed to take the loan under the PSL category. That will be 10 lakh. Now what is the rank of India? That's the 4th. In renewable energy power capacity, India ranks at the 4th. Okay, so right answer will be C. Next question. Next we have dash is the core and fundamental goal of the family welfare program in India. Is it better education, higher literacy, quality food, population management? If you remember, Hana, if you guys remember, we have discussed this particular thing in the second part of your subject class, in which we were discussing about the concept. So in the second class, I have told you a particular page had only one paragraph in a rectangle. So in which I have written, and I have also stated to all of you, this particular line covers one liner question, and that is this question, like what is the core and fundamental goal of family welfare program? So it is actually the population management. In 1952, India introduced national program for family welfare. That was also to control the population at that time. In the first 5-year plan we have introduced. So right answer is population management. Okay, next. Which of the following statement is incorrect about infrastructure? About the infrastructure, which statement is here incorrect? You have to find out the false answer. Infrastructure is an important contributor to economic development. All infrastructure facility directly impact the production of goods and services. Infrastructure is required to provide support services, or next is none of the above. So which of the following you think is not a correct statement? The first one is correct. It is very important for the economic development. The third one as well correct, because it is required as support. Okay, but the second one is not correct. Always the infrastructure facility, they do not directly impact the production of goods and services in the country. Okay, so the incorrect statement will be your B statement of this particular question. So right answer will be B. Okay, next. Next we have, which of the following statement is not a function of a primary health care? So if we talk about healthcare services, we have 3 types of healthcare services, or I can say healthcare services have been divided into three parts: primary healthcare, secondary healthcare, tertiary healthcare. Primary healthcare is a healthcare in which you get the basic requirements of healthcare services. Maternal healthcare, child healthcare will be covered as well. Secondary healthcare services are those type of services which helps us to have a specialist knowledge about a particular thing. Let's say, for example, when you have to visit the specialist, that's a secondary sector or the secondary healthcare services. Like, for example, you have to visit the dermatologist, you have to visit the neurologist, you have to visit the gynec. So this is the specialized disease will be treated in the secondary healthcare services. The tertiary healthcare services deal with the life-threatening disease, the surgeries and all, the cancer treatment or life-threatening disease, as well as they also work for the R&D. The research and development is also a part of tertiary sector. So if you see here in the third option, it is saying that primary healthcare focuses on conducting research. No, this will be done by the tertiary healthcare services. So the right answer will be C. It is the incorrect statement about the primary healthcare. Okay, so right answer will be C. Next question. Next we have, in 1952, Dash became the first country in the world to implement a national program for family planning. So now I have told you, in 1951, the first 5-year plan was started in 1951, and in 1952 we have introduced the family planning program, and the purpose was same as right now we have, that is population control or population management. We wanted to control population at that time, still we want to have the same thing. So which country it is? It is simply India. It is what? It is India. So India became the first country to introduce the family planning programs in the country, in the world, that in the year first 5-year plan, 1952. Okay, so right answer will be your C. Next question we have here, which of the following statement is true about the social infrastructure? So the chapter name itself includes infrastructure, including social infrastructure. Now, which of the following is true about the social infrastructure? The electricity is an essential component of social infrastructure. The roads and highways are essential component of social infrastructure. The internet is essential. The housing is essential. So you have to answer, out of electricity, roads, highways, internet and housing, which particular type of infrastructure will be taken as a social infrastructure? A, B, C or D? And the right answer is basic, or we can say the essential component of having a social infrastructure in the country. That's housing, and that's why Awas Yojana is going on from a certain years to provide this basic infrastructure to the people. Now, next we have from the following which is not a commercial source of energy. The commercial source of energy which you are using as a business energy, or we can say you are doing a business on that. So it is it a petroleum, coal, electricity, or dried ground? Which of the following is correct? Not a commercial source of energy. A, B, C, or D? And the right answer will be D option. This is not a commercial source of energy. Petroleum is, coal is, electricity is, but not the dried dung. Okay. IFS subject. So today I will be discussing the next topic of yours, that is the globalization impact on India. That's your unit number 6. So as you all know that back to basic series we are regularly having only on offices at 24/7 in the morning and 7:30 AM for IFS. The same series is going to be there for the principles and practices of banking as well from Monday onwards. Okay, and the timing for the PPB will be 7 AM. So do not forget to join 7 AM and 7:30 AM for your PPB and IFS back to basic series respectively. Okay, so these sessions will be Monday to Friday on regular basis now. So in today's session, we are going to discuss here your unit number 6, globalization impact on India. So this is our chapter. Okay, class number we have, this is the 15th number class, not the 16th, and the part of this unit is first. The part of this unit we are discussing is the first. As we know, there are some units which are comparatively big, so we have to take that particular unit in 1 or 2 or 3 parts. So that's why this is the first part. So now we have to discuss about the topic, that is globalization impact on India. So before going through the theory, let's understand what actually the globalization is. Let's have an understanding about it first. So first of all, when I am talking about globalization, before globalization, we have to understand about economic reform. We should know about what is economic reform. Then we will go and understand the globalization, because the globalization started from here only. Economic reform, the last economic reform India got was the year 1991, and it was named as LPG. So what this LPG stands for, let me know in the comment section what does LPG stands for. So you also have one chapter, that is the unit number 7, that is economic reform. In the unit number 7, we are going to discuss the economic reform, but before economic reform, the chapter number 6 talks about the globalization. So the liberalization, privatization, globalization is actually your economic reform. We are going to discuss all the 3 in your next unit, that is unit number 7. But today we are going to cover only globalization, but let's have a context from where the globalization came. So first, L stands for your liberalization. This P stands for privatization. This G stands for globalization. G stands for globalization. So these are the 3 economic reforms we have: liberalization, privatization, and the globalization. So liberalization means to make things liberal, to make things easy. How to make easy, how to make economy easy? By reducing rules, regulations, and restrictions. When you remove rules, regulations, restrictions from the certain transaction, from the certain permission to have a business in the country, or from any kind of economic activity, it will become very easy for the people to have more and more businesses and to involve more and more work in the country. So when you have a liberal economic policy, rules, regulation, etc., that will be helping you all out in the developing the economy or having a more possibility to grow. So liberalization means to make the things liberal by removing rules, regulations, and restrictions. So earlier what used to happen in the country, we used to have the license Raj, permit Raj, quota Raj. Certain kind of restrictions used to be there. But the liberalization made the license permit quota Raj a thing of past. It's like it used to be there in the India. So it have been removed by the liberalization. Privatization means to allow private companies to participate in the decision making of the country. It means earlier every work, every sector used to come under the government. Government used to decide, government had to have a monopoly in all the sector. But now in the privatization, what we have done, we have allowed whom? We have allowed the private enterprises to work with the government. So we have made Indian economy a mixed economy, where government and private sector, they both are working together. Okay, they both have the certain responsibility, the certain authority to decide what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So this is what the privatization is. Okay, so the private companies entered in the business. Now globalization means to link Indian economy with world economies. In the globalization, we started linking Indian economy with world economies. It means what? It means there is no more restrictions on the export and import of goods and services. You are allowed to perform export and import of goods and services because the government have removed the restrictions. That's what the globalization is. So globalization simply means to link Indian economy with world economies. That's a globalization. Okay, so this is what we're talking about, and today we are going to cover this globalization only, because liberalization, privatization, this is the unit number 7 of yours, the economic reform. We will cover that in the unit number 7. Now, if I'm talking about the globalization, as I have told you, the globalization is simply what? Globalization means simply when you link, globalization means what? When you link Indian economy, when we link Indian economy with world economies, with world economies, that's known as globalization. It means because of the globalization, India became open economy. Now, what does open economy means? It means there is no restrictions on exports and imports by government of your country. So when there is no restrictions on export and import of goods and services by the government of the country, that is known as open economy. And India became open economy because of the globalization, because we started linking the Indian economy with the world economies. That means the government have given permission that you can do export and import of goods and services. But it's not like whatever you want you can do. There is a foreign trade policy. There is a policy in which government says that there are certain goods and services which are free, other is prohibited, and other is restricted. So accordingly, whatever the foreign trade policy of government says that what product can be exported or can be imported, what cannot be done, accordingly those norms you have to follow. But yes, you can perform the export import from the country, and that's where India started growing. So because of the globalization, a lot of help we have got in the financial resources. As we know, every economy have a scarcity of resources. If we talk about particularly Indian economy, we have scarcity of physical resources, scarcity of financial resources, scarcity of human resources. Financial resources means we do not have a lot of capital that will help us out to build more and more business in the country. Physical resources means we do not have a proper raw material which is required to produce the goods and services. Third, human resource means the persons. We do not have people to hire in the organization. Now, if I am saying that we have a scarcity of human resource, how is it possible that India is the most populated country in the world? In January 2023, we have left China behind, and the maximum population in the world is in our country. So how we as a most populated country have a scarcity of human resource? It simply means that we have a less skilled laborers, we have a less educated people who are actually required to build the economy. Okay, that's what we are talking about in context of the scarcity of human resource. And because of this globalization, the best benefit India got, a lot of benefits are there. The best benefit India got because of the globalization, it was our foreign capital inflow. We got the financial resources from the foreign countries. We got MNCs, they wanted to start business in India, they wanted to invest in India. A lot of countries, a lot of companies want to invest in India, and that's where we got the capital. Hana, that's where we had or we got the facility to have the funding in the country. So this is how globalization have changed the Indian economy. Now let's discuss the theory part here. So now you can see the module A we are talking about, and today we are going to cover the globalization. The next unit will be your economic reform, that's the LPG we are going to discuss. Chalo, so let's see here what this paragraph is saying. It is saying the term globalization refers to increasing what? The interconnectedness. You are connecting. To whom you are connecting? World's economies, cultures, inhabitants as a result of cross-border trade in goods and services, technology, flows of investment, people and the knowledge. This is what we are doing. It means what? Globalization is a kind of a term that says we are increasing the interconnectedness. We are trying to connect all, the economies together. We are trying to we are trying to connect the world economies. We are trying to connect the cultures. Their inhabitant means their localities, है and how you are connecting them? By providing them the permission to have a cross-border trade of goods and services, of knowledge, of people, of resources, of information. You are allowed to exchange these things. You are allowed to have a trade of all these things. From here, goods and services till the knowledge. And because we are allowed to exchange these things, because we are allowed to give each other these things, that's how we can say that we got the facility of having a globalization. So globalization somehow helped us out in interconnectedness. It helped us out in the interconnectedness. Now next we have, if we're talking about globalization and its advocacy, so there is a strong evidence from nations of all sizes and locations that when the countries globalize, their citizens benefit from more exposure to it. So one more thing, do not have such kind of understanding in your mind that if we introduce the LPG policy, we have only benefits out of, we got only benefits out of it. No, we have got disadvantages as well. Globalization has a huge disadvantage on our country. One of them is the retail businessmen are facing. The retail businesses in the country, they are facing a very disadvantages because of the globalization. Why they are facing this? Let's discuss that. So to understand how the retail businessmen of the country, they are facing loss, let's discuss the FDI limits, foreign direct investment. In the single brand retail, in I wrote it wrong. In single brand retail, %100% FDI is allowed. In multi-brand retail, it is only 51% allowed. And why so? Let's understand. The single brand retail simply means that a particular company, if wants to start their business in India, they can come to India with their own capital, they can start their own personal store in the country. Let's say Apple. Okay, Apple have its store in India, that is Inspire. So when you visit the Apple store, you find out that the only product they are selling is of Apple only. They are not selling any other company. They are not selling Samsung's phone or Nokia's phone or whatever. So they are only selling the Apple's product. This is single brand retail. What is multi-brand retail? Multi-brand retail simply means in a single roof, under a roof, you are getting multiple brands. जैसे कि World Mart. When you go to the World Mart, you will find, when you go to the D Mart, you will find all kinds of products available of different companies. That's a multi-brand retail. And if I talk about the metro cities, urban areas, people have this kind of habit now. Once in a month, they are going to these kinds of D-marts or Big Bazaar or any other kind of these chains, and they purchase the whole grocery or the requirement for a month. Now, the retailer shopkeepers which we have in our localities, they are facing loss. They are not getting revenue, they are not able to sell the goods and services, because people have this habit just to spend one day on the particular grocery shopping and they purchase everything. And that's why government said that because of the multi-brand retail, it can harm the domestic retailers. So that's why we have not allowed them to come India and start their own business. No, we said that if you want to come India, you can come, but you have to partnership. You have to come under a partnership with the Indian retailer, Indian businessman, so that Indian people will earn something now. So because of the globalization, this kind of problem we are facing. Like MNCs are getting a lot of much better way in the country, but the retailers, they are facing loss because of them. Okay, so globalization have benefits and disadvantages as well. Advantage, disadvantage, both will be there. So here, what are the advantages we are facing while we have globalized the economy? First is the broader range of goods and services we have. It's very obvious now. We have a lot of options now. We can purchase product from the different product companies or quality or price. It reduced our cost because you have options now, so your costing will also be reduced. More and better paying employment is available when the MNCs are coming to India. Improved health, you will get the technical advancement, it will obviously improve your health care. Higher overall living standard, when you got the job, you will get the salary. When you get the salary, you will have money to spend and you will simply enhance your living standard. Now, the effects of globalization include your increased per capita income because you got the job, because you got the employment opportunity. That's why your earning increased, and that's why the consumer will be asking for the different products. That's why the more option for consumers will also be available, because they are getting lot of options, they have money to spend. Okay, so simply effects of globalization say that we have an increased per capita income, better employment opportunity, more options for customer. All these are the benefit. And as well, we have globalization also open the new options for the agricultural exports. Like there are certain, if I'm talking about the Gulf countries have crude oil. So they are using crude oil to earn the foreign currency to run their economy. If India is good in agriculture. So India can use the agriculture sector to earn foreign currency and to enhance their economy, to develop their economy. So that's how actually the globalization is helping us out. Okay. Now, so this was the basic understanding of the globalization, but after understanding this, what kind of questions can be seen? This is a kind of theoretical topic now. So what kind of question can be seen? Let's see. Let's have a practice about that. So the first question is talking about which of the following statement is true for the globalization. So you have to answer here which statement is true about the globalization. Let me know. Okay. So the first option is saying workers were denied for their right because labor law were not implemented. It helped in creating several jobs in service sector. People having wealth, skill and education were not benefited from globalization. Globalization has unequal benefits. So this is true. Globalization have unequal benefits. When the MNCs are coming, they are investing in India. They want to invest in metro city. They want to invest in urban area. Nobody wants to go to the rural area. So somehow, because of the globalization, the inequality in distribution of income, inequality in opportunities have been seen in the country. So it have unequal benefits. Then workers were denied for their rights because labor laws were not there. Yes, it have been seen. It helped in creating several jobs in service sector. This is also true. People having wealth, skills and education were not benefited from globalization. No, this is not true. Everybody got benefited because of this globalization. So the third option, it means C option, is not correct about the globalization. Right answer is C. Next. Next we have which among the following is not a benefit of globalization. not a benefit of globalization. Technical transfer, technology transfer, job creation, political stability, economic development. So it's very obvious, na, technical advancement we are getting from abroad only. We are getting more employment because of the companies are coming to India. Economic development is there, but not the political stability. Globalization cannot be able to stable the governments in the country. So right answer will be C. Okay. Now, globalization helps in ensuring various economic and social benefit too. Who is getting economic and social benefit with the help of globalization? Laborers, consumers, producers. Let me know. So globalization is providing jobs. So that's why it is good for the laborers. Globalization providing a lot of options to the consumer for goods and services. That's why it is good for the consumer. Globalization is providing funding to the producer. That's why it's good for producer. It means all are correct. All are getting benefited from it. So right answer will be D. Okay, next we have here that is globalization caused dash. Easy movement of goods, capital, services, increasing international trade, companies easily operating in various countries. So which of the following you think is a correct? So globalization caused which of the following? A, B, C or D? And the right answer will be all. Globalization caused all of these. Okay, so right answer will be your D option. Good evening everyone, welcome to official YouTube channel of Officers Adda 24/7. How are you all? So first of all welcome to this session. और जितने भी लोग मेरे साथ यहाँ पे सेशन में जुड़ चुके हैं एक बार मुझे जल्दी से बता देंगे एक ऑडियो वीडियो बोथ आर ओके और नॉट, लेट मी नो. साथ ही में वन मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग यहाँ पर जो हम डिस्कस करेंगे दैट इज़ कि हर दिन हम कोई ना कोई पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर जो है वो आपका डिस्कस कर रहे हैं विद द MCQ. सो डू मेक श्योर आप सारी सीरीज़, ये जो सीरीज़ चली है बैक टू बेसिक सीरीज़, आपका सभी सेशन को आप एक बार देख लो बिकॉज यूनिट 1 से हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं और आज हम पहुंच चुके हैं यूनिट नंबर 6 पे जो कि है ग्लोबलाइजेशन इम्पैक्ट ऑन इंडिया. सो एज वी नो इस सब्जेक्ट में आपके टोटल 4 मॉड्यूल्स हैं, 45 यूनिट्स हैं. हर दिन एक यूनिट को हम कवर करेंगे एंड कुछ यूनिट जो बहुत बड़ी बड़ी हैं उन यूनिट्स को हम कवर करेंगे पार्ट्स में. तो पार्ट 1, पार्ट 2, पार्ट 3 इस तरीके से हम कवर कर रहे हैं. सो डू मेक श्योर हर एक सेशन आप देखो. ठीक है, चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं सेशन को. So today we are going to talk about the globalization impact on India. Class number 16 है. It means 15 classes already हम cover कर चुके हैं in the 5 units. And ये है unit number 6 आपका part 1. अच्छा, before कमिंग थ्रू द टॉपिक या अंडरस्टैंडिंग करने से पहले, थ्योरी पढ़ने से पहले थोड़ा सा अंडरस्टैंडिंग में आपको दे देती हूँ ग्लोबलाइजेशन होता क्या है. इफ़ आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट ग्लोबलाइजेशन, सो इसको पढ़ने के लिए थोड़ा सा और आगे हम जाते हैं और हम बात करते हैं इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स की. इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स भी वैसे आपका यूनिट है प्रॉपरली मॉड्यूल नंबर ए में. यूनिट नंबर 7 जो है हम इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स ही पढ़ेंगे, तो कुछ ज़्यादा डिटेल में यहाँ पे आपको इसके बारे में नहीं बताऊँगी. बट स्टिल ग्लोबलाइजेशन का जो बेसिक्स है या जहाँ से उसका ओरिजिन हुआ है वो तो हमें पता ही होना चाहिए पढ़ने से पहले. सो इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म जो है आपके 1991 में आए थे. मतलब इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स लास्ट जो हुआ था वो 1991 वाला ही है और ये हमारा था LPG. नाउ L स्टैंड फॉर लिबरलाइजेशन. L आपका क्या है? लिबरलाइजेशन. P स्टैंड फॉर प्राइवेटाइजेशन. हमारा P है प्राइवेटाइजेशन. और अगर मैं G की बात करूं तो इट स्टैंड फॉर ग्लोबलाइजेशन, जो कि आज हमें पढ़ना है. तो थोड़ा सा डिस्कशन अगर मैं इस LPG पॉलिसी का करूं या इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म का करूं तो देयर वर अ लॉट ऑफ रीजंस. काफ़ी सारे ऐसे रीजंस थे हमारे जिसकी वजह से हमने इसको इंट्रोड्यूस किया था. नीड्स क्या थी, रीजंस क्या थे. इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म यानी कि यूनिट नंबर 7 में हम पढ़ेंगे. बेसिक में बता देती हूँ. इंडिया जो था इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस फेस कर रहा था उस टाइम पे और इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस फेस के करने की वजह से हम गए थे वर्ल्ड बैंक एंड IMF से हेल्प मांगने. दैट वी नीड अ फंड और वी नीड कैपिटल ताकि हम इकोनॉमी को कंटिन्यू कर सकें, रन कर सकें. सरकार एक ऐसे कगार पर पहुँच चुकी थी जहाँ पर सरकार के ऊपर काफ़ी सारा लोन था. बजट जो हमारा होता है, सरकार बजट बनाती है, इनकम और एक्सपेंडिचर का एक एस्टिमेशन जो होता है, उसमें सरकार डेफिसिट में चल रही थी। डेफिसिट मीन्स घाटा, सरकार ने कमाया कम था और खर्च ज़्यादा कर दिया था। तो ऐसे कुछ काफ़ी सारे रीजंस थे, इन्फ्लेशन था, फिस्कल डेफिसिट था, बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट क्राइसिस था, फॉरेन करेंसी रिजर्व खत्म होता जा रहा था, एक्सेट्रा। इन सभी रीजंस की वजह से एट लास्ट हम पहुंचे थे हमारे इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से हेल्प लेने, जो कि थे वर्ल्ड बैंक और IMF। अब IMF ने यहाँ पे कहा हम इंडिया की हेल्प तो कर देंगे आज, बट आफ्टर अ वाइल जिस तरीके से ये अपने रिसोर्सेज को यूज़ कर रहे हैं या किसी और को करने भी नहीं दे रहे, और इट मीन्स वी वर नॉट दैट मच कैपेबल कि सेल्फ डिपेंडेंसी हमारे पास उस टाइम पे होती। आज हम इंडिया को सेल्फ रिलायंट, आत्मनिर्भर बनाने की बातें कर रहे हैं, तो हम कैपेबल हैं, उस टाइम पे नहीं थे जब ब्रिटिशर्स छोड़ के गए थे। तो उस टाइम पे कहा गया इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल, आज लोन देंगे 10 साल बाद इंडिया फिर वहीं खड़ा होगा, हमारा लोन भी नहीं चुका पाएगा। सो क्या करें, तो सॉल्यूशन यहाँ पे दिया। IMF ने कहा कि आपको इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म करने होंगे, आपकी जो पॉलिसीज़ हैं उनमें थोड़ा सा रिफॉर्म, बदलाव लेकर आओ। और वो जो बदलाव है वो आया LPG के नाम से, लिबरलाइजेशन, प्राइवेटाइजेशन, ग्लोबलाइजेशन। ये इंट्रोड्यूस किया था पॉलिसी हमारे फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ने, जो उस टाइम पे थे डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी। प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे हमारे उस टाइम पे मिस्टर नरसिम्हा राव। सो इनके अंडर में इस पॉलिसी को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया। रीजन मैंने आपको बता दिया, अब इसका मतलब क्या है थोड़ा सा वो भी बता देती हूँ। लिबरलाइजेशन जब आप कर रहे हो तो यू आर मेकिंग थिंग्स लिबरल, आप आसान बना रहे हो चीज़ों को लोगों के लिए। आसान बनाने का मतलब क्या हुआ, इट्स वेरी सिंपल, आप रूल्स, रेगुलेशंस, रेस्ट्रिक्शंस को ख़त्म कर रहे हो। आपने जितने भी रूल्स, रेगुलेशंस, रेस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं उनको कम कर रहे हो, ख़त्म कर रहे हो, वो होता है लिबरलाइजेशन। तो हमारे यहाँ पे लाइसेंस राज, परमिट राज और कोटा राज जो हुआ करते थे उनको हमने क्या किया, लिबरल कर दिया, आसान कर दिया, ईजी कर दिया। ये हमने करना स्टार्ट किया कहाँ पे, लिबरलाइजेशन के अंदर, ठीक है। देन आफ्टर प्राइवेटाइजेशन की अगर हम बात करें तो प्राइवेटाइजेशन मीन्स आपका ओनरशिप दे देना, ओनरशिप ट्रांसफ़र कर देना। तो ओनरशिप ट्रांसफ़र करने का सिंपल सा मतलब क्या हो गया, वट यू आर डूइंग, आपका जो पब्लिक ओनरशिप में था, हर एक चीज़ पब्लिक ओनरशिप होती थी, सरकार की मोनोपोली में था। प्राइवेटाइजेशन के बाद उस ओनरशिप को प्राइवेट सेक्टर्स को दिया गया, और साथ में अगर मैं बात करूं तो प्राइवेट सेक्टर्स को अलाउ कर दिया गया, यू कैन वर्क इन द कंट्री। तो आप देखो इंडियन इकोनॉमी मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी बन गया बिकॉज ऑफ द प्राइवेटाइजेशन। अब मैं बात करूं ग्लोबलाइजेशन की, तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन मीन्स टू लिंक इंडियन इकोनॉमी विद वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमीज। इंडिया की इकोनॉमी को आप वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी के साथ जोड़ रहे हो, ये है आपका ग्लोबलाइजेशन। इट मीन्स व्हाट, यानी कि अब आप जितना चाहें उतना एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट कर सकते हो, कोई रेस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है। जितना चाहें उतना एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट करने का मतलब ये नहीं हुआ कुछ भी एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट आप करोगे, नहीं। फॉरेन ट्रेड पॉलिसी के अंदर कुछ रेस्ट्रिक्टेड आइटम्स होते हैं, कुछ प्रोहिबिटेड आइटम्स होते हैं, कुछ फ्री आइटम्स होते हैं। अकॉर्डिंगली उन पॉलिसी को फॉलो करके आपकी जो एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट्स हैं वो आप कर सकते हो। दिस इज व्हाट द ग्लोबलाइजेशन इज। तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन की वजह से इंडियन इकोनॉमी क्या बना, ओपन इकोनॉमी बन गया। आप जितना चाहें उतना एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट यहाँ पे कर सकते हैं। तो यहाँ से स्टार्ट होता है अब हमारा ग्लोबलाइजेशन। तो अब हम सिर्फ और सिर्फ बात करेंगे ग्लोबलाइजेशन की। प्राइवेटाइजेशन और आपका जो लिबरलाइजेशन है ये भी हम पढ़ेंगे, पर इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म चैप्टर यानी कि यूनिट नंबर 7 में थोड़ा डिटेल में उसको पढ़ेंगे। चलिए, ग्लोबलाइजेशन मीन्स टू लिंक इंडियन इकोनॉमी विद वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी, विद वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमीज। तो हमने इंडियन इकोनॉमी को विद वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमीज लिंक कर दिया और हमने इंडिया को बना दिया ओपन इकोनॉमी। ना ओपन इकोनॉमी का मतलब क्या हुआ, एक ऐसी इकोनॉमी वेयर देयर इज नो रेस्ट्रिक्शंस ऑन एक्सपोर्ट्स एंड इंपोर्ट्स बाय गवर्नमेंट। सरकार ने, आपके देश की सरकार ने जब इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट्स के ऊपर कोई भी रेस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं लगाए हैं, ऐसी इकोनॉमी को हम बोलते हैं ओपन। तो जब ग्लोबलाइजेशन हुआ तो MNCs अलाउ हुए। देखो ग्लोबलाइजेशन का सबसे बड़ा फायदा हमें क्या मिला, हमें फॉरेन कैपिटल मिला। हर एक कंट्री में रिसोर्सेज की कमी होती है। अगर मैं इंडिया की बात करूँ तो हमारे पास फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेज कम है, पैसा कम है। सेकंड, हमारे पास फिजिकल रिसोर्सेज कम है, गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज जो प्राइमरी प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं वो भी कम है। थर्ड, अगर मैं बात करूँ तो हमारे पास आपका ह्यूमन रिसोर्स भी कम है। अब आप बोलोगे पॉपुलेशन के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में तो वर्ल्ड्स मोस्ट पॉपुलेटेड कंट्री हैं हम, तो फिर कैसे हुआ? ये इस सेंस में हम बात करें कि स्किल्ड लेबर, एजुकेटेड लेबर जो है हमारी कंट्री में वो कम है। सो ह्यूमन रिसोर्स हो, फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्स हो या फिजिकल रिसोर्स हो, तीनों में स्कार्सिटी यानी कि कमी तो देखी गई। तो वो जो फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्स है हमारा वो हमें फॉरेन कंट्री से मिलने लगा जब हमने ग्लोबलाइजेशन किया। तो बेस्ट फ़ायदा जो हुआ हमें यही हुआ कि आपका कैपिटल इनफ्लो होना स्टार्ट हो गया इन द कंट्री, है ना। आपका कंट्री में क्या होना स्टार्ट हो गया, कैपिटल इनफ्लो होना स्टार्ट हो गया। चलिए, सो दिस वाज द ग्लोबलाइजेशन। आप पढ़ लेते हैं थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे ग्लोबलाइजेशन के बारे में। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मॉड्यूल ए है, यूनिट नंबर जो हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे हैं दैट इज योर 6 ग्लोबलाइजेशन। देखो तुरंत बाद आपका इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म आएगा जहाँ पे हम LPG डिस्कस करेंगे इन द डिटेल। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। यहाँ पर सबसे पहले यू कैन सी व्हाट एक्चुअली द टर्म ग्लोबलाइजेशन मीन्स। तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन रेफर्स टू इंक्रीजिंग इंटरकनेक्टेडनेस, जोड़ रहे हो ना, of world economies, cultures, inhabitants as a result of cross-border trade in goods and services, technology, flow of investment, people, knowledge. सब एक्सचेंज कर सकते हो आप, सबका ट्रांसफ़र कर रहे हो आप यहाँ पे। तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन कहा गया एक ऐसा टर्म है जो इंक्रीज कर रहा है इंटरकनेक्टेडनेस को। इंटरकनेक्टेडनेस इंक्रीज करने का मतलब क्या हुआ? इट्स वेरी सिंपल। आपने लोगों को, चाहे वो लोग हों चाहे वो किसी भी पर्पज़ के लिए, पर कनेक्टेड बना दिया आपने उनको, है ना। वर्ल्ड की इकोनॉमीज जो हैं आपने मिलेगा उनको भी मिल सकता है। सो दैट्स व्हाट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ। कैसे हुआ ये कनेक्टेडनेस, कैसे बना? क्योंकि हम क्रॉस बॉर्डर ट्रेड करने लगे, गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज की भी, टेक्नोलॉजी की भी, फ्लो ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट यानी कि कैपिटल की भी, और लोगों की भी और नॉलेज की भी। लोगों की मतलब क्या हुआ? इट मीन्स अब आप इंडिया से बाहर जाके काम कर सकते हो, वहाँ से लोग आके इंडिया में काम कर सकते हैं, है ना। एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी हम शेयर करने लगे आपस में, और नॉलेज तो हम शेयर कर ही रहे हैं। सो ये सारी चीज़ें जो हैं इंटरकनेक्टेडनेस को शो करता है वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमीज़ का, ठीक है। एंड इसी को हम बोल देते हैं ग्लोबलाइजेशन। अब इससे फ़ायदा किसका हुआ? क्या मेरा हुआ या आपका फ़ायदा हुआ? ऑलमोस्ट सभी का फ़ायदा हुआ, है ना। कंज्यूमर्स के लिए भी बेनिफिशियल है और आपके सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स के लिए भी बेनिफिशियल है। देखो क्या है यहाँ पे, देयर इज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग एविडेंस फ्रॉम द नेशंस ऑफ ऑल साइजेस एंड लोकेशंस दैट व्हेन द कंट्री इज ग्लोबलाइज देयर सिटीजन्स बेनिफिट फ्रॉम मोर एक्सपोजर टू फर्स्ट ब्रॉडर रेंज ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज। देखो अपॉर्चुनिटी, ऑप्शंस बढ़ जाते हैं आपके पास, यू हैव अ लॉट ऑफ ऑप्शन। पहले हमें प्रोडक्ट खरीदना होता था जो इंडिया में है, जितने में बेचना चाहेंगे उतने में ही खरीदेंगे, जिस क्वालिटी का मिल रहा है उसी क्वालिटी का खरीदोगे। नाउ यू हैव ऑप्शंस, आपके पास अब ऑप्शंस हैं किस क्वालिटी का खरीदना है, किस प्राइस पे खरीदना है, कौन सी कंट्री से बना होना चाहिए, क्या स्टैंडर्ड आपको चाहिए, वो सब यू हैव अपॉर्चुनिटीज़, है ना। नाउ यू कैन डिसाइड बाय योरसेल्फ। मार्केट में बहुत सारे प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, सो आपको ब्रॉड रेंज ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज मिल गया। सेकेंड, आपकी कॉस्टिंग जो है वो रिड्यूस हो गई, है ना। अब देखो पहले क्या होता था, अगर मैं बात करूं तो कॉस्टिंग रिड्यूस होने का मतलब क्या हुआ? लेट्स से कोई प्रोडक्ट हम बना रहे हैं XYZ प्रोडक्ट, उसका प्रोडक्शन इंडिया में हो रहा है, रॉ मटेरियल है पर बहुत कम है हमारे पास। तो जब कम रॉ मटेरियल है और डिमांड ज़्यादा है तो प्राइजेस तो बढ़ेंगे, तो उसको कम जो हमारी कॉस्टिंग है वो बढ़ गई क्योंकि जो रॉ मटेरियल है उसका प्राइस बढ़ गया। अब वही चीज़ हम लेट से चाइना से मंगा रहे हैं, उनके पास अनलिमिटेड है वो चीज़, तो उनकी कंट्री में तो प्राइस सस्ता होगा ना क्योंकि सप्लाई बहुत सारी है। वहाँ से जब आप खरीद रहे हो तो होम मार्केट से भी सस्ते में रिसोर्सेज आपको मिल रहे हैं, तो आपका क्या होगा? कॉस्ट रिड्यूस हो जाएगा, सिंपल। देन मोर एंड बेटर पेइंग एम्प्लॉयमेंट ऑब्वियसली मिल रहा है ना। आपको बेहतर एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिल रहा है और ज़्यादा एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ रहा है बिकॉज ऑफ द ग्लोबलाइजेशन। इम्प्रूव्ड हेल्थ, है ना। आपके पास जब टेक्नोलॉजी एडवांसमेंट हो रहा है, टेक्निकल एडवांसमेंट आ रहा है, तो हेल्थ केयर में तो ये हो रहा है, इम्प्रूव्ड हेल्थ मिलेगा आपको। हायर ओवरऑल लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड, ओवरऑल ऑब्वियस सी बात है ना, पैसा आ रहा है देश के अंदर, जॉब्स क्रिएट होंगी, एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिलेगा तो पर कैपिटा इनकम बढ़ेगा, नेशनल इनकम बढ़ेगा। पैसा है तो आप हेल्थ केयर भी ले पाओगे, पैसा है तो आप बेटर एजुकेशन भी ले पाओगे, पैसा है तो आप अपना लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड बेहतर कर पाओगे, पॉवर्टी कम हो जाएगा कंट्री में, लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड बेहतर हो जाएगा लोगों का, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट होगा। तो ये सारे बेनिफिट जो हैं वो हमें पता चले, या फिर जब नेशंस से पूछा गया कि ग्लोबलाइज होने से आपको क्या फ़ायदा है, तो ये सारे बेनिफिट्स हमें दिखे, ठीक है। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। नाउ द इफेक्ट्स ऑफ ग्लोबलाइजेशन। ग्लोबलाइजेशन के इफेक्ट्स क्या? अब देखो हमेशा पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट नहीं है। हमने कहा LPG पॉलिसी आई, बहुत अच्छा हुआ देश के लिए, पर सब कुछ अच्छा नहीं है, वो कुछ गलत भी हुआ। देखो जब MNCs इंडिया में आ रही हैं ग्लोबलाइजेशन के बाद से, तो आप देखोगे कहीं ना कहीं डोमेस्टिक मार्केट में रिटेलर्स को नुकसान हुआ है। अगर मैं बात करूं आप लोगों से एफडीआई की, थोड़ा सा डिस्कशन यहाँ पे हम करते हैं। एफडीआई की अगर मैं बात करूं, फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट की, तो अगर मैं बात करूं सिंगल ब्रांड रिटेल में, सिंगल ब्रांड रिटेल और मल्टी ब्रांड रिटेल में, सबसे पहले तो ये है क्या, ये समझ लेते हैं हम। अच्छा, मैं पहले आपको परसेंटेज बता देती हूँ। एफडीआई यहाँ पे 100% अलाउ है, एफडीआई यहाँ पे 51% अलाउ है, अप टू 51 अलाउ। चलिए, तो यहाँ पे इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? सिंगल ब्रांड रिटेल मतलब किसी भी पर्टिकुलर ब्रांड का सिंगल आउटलेट है। आईफोन ने अपना आउटलेट यहाँ पे डाला है, इंस्पायर, ठीक है। तो आप जब देखोगे तो आईफोन के, एप्पल के अपने खुद के स्टोर्स हैं इंडिया में, वो अपने ही प्रोडक्ट बेच रहा है अपने स्टोर पे। ऐसा नहीं कि आपका आईफोन जो बिक रहा है या एप्पल का जो स्टोर है इंस्पायर, वहाँ पे आपको सैमसंग का प्रोडक्ट मिल रहा है, नहीं। आप वहाँ जाओगे एप्पल स्टोर पे, सारे प्रोडक्ट्स आपको एप्पल के मिलेंगे। दैट्स द सिंगल ब्रांड रिटेल। यहाँ पे 100% अलाउ है। कोई भी बाहर की कंपनी इंडिया में आके बिजनेस करना चाहती है, कर सकते हैं, और 100% एफडीआई के साथ कर सकते हैं। अगर मैं बात करूँ मल्टी ब्रांड की, तो मल्टी ब्रांड आपका सिर्फ और सिर्फ अवेलेबल है 51%, ठीक है। मल्टी ब्रांड में कितना अवेलेबल है? ओनली 51% अवेलेबल है। नाउ हाउ इट्स पॉसिबल? क्यों ऐसा किया? ये 100% क्यों नहीं किया? द रीज़न बिहाइंड इट इसलिए नहीं किया गया, मल्टी ब्रांड रिटेल जितने भी हैं आपके, ये कहीं ना कहीं डोमेस्टिक रिटेलर्स के लिए नुकसान है। रीज़न क्यों नुकसानदायक है? फर्स्ट, अगर मैं बात करूँ, जैसे आपने वर्ल्ड मार्क देखा होगा, है ना, लेट्स से एक ऐसा स्टोर जहाँ पे मल्टीपल ब्रांड्स मिल रहे हैं, ठीक है। आप एक स्टोर में गए, वहाँ पे मल्टीपल ब्रांड्स आपको मिल रहे हैं, तो लोग क्या करते हैं, जैसे डी मार्ट हो गया फॉर एग्जांपल। डी मार्ट में आपको हर तरीके का प्रोडक्ट मिलेगा। आप वहाँ जाओगे तो आप, लोगों ने ऐसा करना स्टार्ट कर दिया है इन द मेट्रो सिटीज़, अर्बन एरिया, यहाँ पे जहाँ जहाँ पे भी अवेलेबल है। महीने में हम एक बार जाते हैं, पूरा ग्रॉसरी खरीद के ले आते हैं, बिकॉज वी डू नॉट हैव टाइम कि हर दिन कुछ ना कुछ खरीदने जा रहे हैं, हम पॉसिबल नहीं हो पाता। सो बिकॉज ऑफ द लाइफ स्टाइल एंड बिकॉज ये ऑप्शन अवेलेबल है, तो आप महीने में एक बार जाते हो, सारी सर्विसेज लेकर आ जाते हो, सारी चीज़ें लेकर आ जाते हो जो आपको चाहिए। इससे क्या होगा, ये जो छोटे छोटे दुकानदार हैं, रिटेलर्स हैं हमारी कंट्री के, वो तो नुकसान में चले गए। इसीलिए जब हम मल्टी ब्रांड रिटेल की बात कर रहे हैं, तो ये जो 51% है इसलिए रखा गया है, ताकि अगर आप आओगे भी तो 49% आपको इंडियन कंपनी के साथ बिजनेस करना ही पड़ेगा। सो दैट्स वाई एक नुकसान हो गया ना। एमएनसीज आ रही हैं तो डोमेस्टिक रिटेलर्स को नुकसान हो रहा है। चलिए आगे बात करते हैं। तो इफेक्ट में पॉजिटिव भी होगा, नेगेटिव भी होगा। चलिए, आपका पर कैपिटा इनकम बढ़ रहा है, बिल्कुल सही है। बेटर एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज आपको मिल रही हैं, बिल्कुल सही है। फार मोर ऑप्शंस फॉर कस्टमर, दिस इज ऑल्सो ऑप्शन है कि आपके पास ऑप्शंस बहुत हैं, बहुत सारे गुड्स हैं, कोई सा भी खरीद लो, है ना, आपके पास ऑप्शन है। एम्प्लॉयमेंट है, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कंपनीज इंडिया में आएंगी, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडिया में कर रही है, पैसा इंडिया में दे रहे हैं, तो आपका जॉब्स भी बढ़ेगा। पर कैपिटा इनकम बढ़ रहा है क्योंकि नेशनल आपका एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ रहा है, ठीक है। तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन ओपनड न्यू ऑप्शन फॉर एग्रीकल्चर एक्सपोर्ट्स ऑल्सो, है ना। अगर इंडिया एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में बेहतर है तो हम क्यों ना उस चीज़ को बेचें। जैसे जो गल्फ कंट्रीज़ हैं, उनके पास क्रूड ऑयल है, तो वो क्रूड ऑयल बेच के अपनी इकोनॉमी को चलाते हैं। हमारे पास बहुत सारा एग्रीकल्चर वाला, हम एग्रीकल्चर को बेच के अपना कंट्री चलाएंगे। सो आपके पास ऑप्शन आ गए, है ना। हर एक कंट्री जिसमें भी आप माहिर हो वो आप यहाँ पे यूज़ कर सकते हो। इट प्रॉम्प्टेड इंडिया टू कंसिडर मोबिलाइजिंग लार्ज इन्वेस्टमेंट इन द सेक्टर फॉर फार्म मैकेनाइजेशन एंड कमर्शियल फार्मिंग टू compete इन द ग्लोबल मार्केट विद इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर गुड्स। एंड दैट वी हैव सीन ना, ऑब्वियसली, है ना, कि अगर हम बात करें मोबिलाइजिंग लार्ज इन्वेस्टमेंट, कौन से सेक्टर में? फार्म मैकेनाइजेशन में, कमर्शियल फार्मिंग में। क्यों लेकर आए? ताकि compete कर सकें ग्लोबल मार्केट से विद द इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर गुड्स। अब देखो टेक्सटाइल में, जैसे अब हम चाह रहे हैं कि हमारा जो टेक्सटाइल सेक्टर है वो लार्जेस्ट सेक्टर बन जाए इन द वर्ल्ड, तो हम क्या करें, नई नई स्कीम्स लेकर आ रहे हैं, टेक्निकल एडवांसमेंट करें, समथिंग वी आर डूइंग, ताकि इंडिया जो है वर्ल्ड में, है ना, ग्लोबल लेवल पे टेक्सटाइल मार्केट को क्या करने लगे, लीड करने लगे। सिमिलरली एग्रीकल्चर के लिए हमने किया था। सो दिस इज़ व्हाट द ग्लोबलाइजेशन इज़। आप देखो, ये तो हो गया, हमने पढ़ लिया इतना सारा थ्योरी पार्ट, पर कैसे क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, क्या पूछा जाएगा, तो वो देख लेते हैं। चलिए, सबसे पहली चीज़, पहला क्वेश्चन आपके सामने है। इट इज़ आस्किंग विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग अमंग द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट इज़ नॉट ट्रू फॉर ग्लोबलाइजेशन। हमेशा याद रखिएगा, जितने भी स्टेटमेंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस आते हैं उसमें करेक्ट पूछा या इनकरेक्ट पूछा, इन चीज़ों पे ध्यान दीजिएगा। तो आपसे यहाँ पे पूछ रहा है इनमें से कौन सा आपका नॉट ट्रू है। वर्कर्स वर डिनाइड फॉर देयर राइट्स बिकॉज लेबर लॉज वर नॉट इम्प्लीमेंटेड। It helped it in creating several jobs in the service sector. People having wealth, skills, education were not benefited from the globalization. Globalization has unequal benefits. Now, which of the following is not true? कौन सा ट्रू नहीं है आपको ये बताना है. ओके चलो ठीक है. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आपका राइट आंसर जो होगा दैट इज सी, कि जितने भी ऐसे लोग हैं जिनके पास वेल्थ है, स्किल्स है, एजुकेटेड है, दे आर नॉट बेनिफिटेड. दिस इज नॉट ट्रू. देखो पहला बिल्कुल सही है, दूसरा भी सही है, थर्ड भी सही है. आप बोलो ग्लोबलाइजेशन के अनइक्वल बेनिफिट्स कैसे हो सकते हैं, तो मैं बता देती हूँ कैसे हो सकते हैं. आपको देखो कोई एमएनसीज आना चाह रही है तो वो अर्बन एरिया, मेट्रो सिटीज़ में जाएंगी या रूरल एरियाज में जाएंगी, तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन हुआ, उससे आपका कंट्री डेवलप हो रहा है, बट सबको इक्वल बेनिफिट नहीं मिल रहा ना. वेल्थ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सबको इक्वली नहीं हो रहा. सो राइट आंसर विल बी सी हियर. ठीक है, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. नेक्स्ट, विच अमंग द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट अ बेनिफिट ऑफ ग्लोबलाइजेशन. ग्लोबलाइजेशन का फायदा नहीं. देखो ग्लोबलाइजेशन के डिसएडवांटेजेस भी हैं. ठीक है, क्या है? टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफर, जॉब क्रिएशन, पॉलिटिकल स्टेबिलिटी, इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज देयर? विच अमंग द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट अ बेनिफिट ऑफ ग्लोबलाइजेशन? देखो टेक्निकल ट्रांसफर तो हो रहा है, जॉब्स भी क्रिएट हो रही हैं, इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट भी होगा, पॉलिटिकल स्टेबिलिटी. ग्लोबलाइजेशन आपकी कंट्री में पॉलिटिकल स्टेबिलिटी थोड़ी ला सकती है, वो थोड़ी आपकी सरकारों को जोड़ कर रख सकती है कि ये सरकार नहीं जाएगी, तो पॉलिटिकल स्टेबिलिटी तो पॉसिबल नहीं है. सो राइट आंसर इज सी, दिस इज नॉट अ बेनिफिट. Next question is asking here, globalization helps in ensuring various economic and social benefit to dash. किसको दे रहा है social और economic benefits? Laborers को, consumers को, producers को. It ensure various economic and social benefits to whom? Which of the following? The laborers, the consumers, the producer. तो right answer is D. सभी को तो कर रहा है. It ensure सभी इकोनॉमिक, सभी सोशल बेनिफिट्स जो हैं जिस लेवल पे रिक्वायर्ड है उसको मिले. तो लेबरर्स को भी मिल रहा है यहाँ पे, कंज्यूमर्स को भी मिल रहा है, प्रोड्यूसर्स को भी मिल रहा है. इक्वल नहीं मिल रहा, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग, बट यस इट इज अवेलेबल टू ऑल. सो राइट आंसर होगा डी. नेक्स्ट में बात करूँ तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन कॉज्ड विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग. ग्लोबलाइजेशन का इसके वजह से इनमें से कौन सा कॉज हुआ है? इजी मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स, कैपिटल एंड सर्विसेज, इंक्रीजिंग द इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड, कंपनीज इजीली ऑपरेटिंग इन वेरियस कंट्रीज. So globalization caused which of the following? A, B, C और D. तो देखो इजी मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज तो हो रहा है. अब आपका डोमेस्टिक और फॉरेन मार्केट में डिफरेंस नहीं है. सेकंड इज ऑल्सो देयर इंक्रीजिंग इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड है आपकी कंट्री में. थर्ड इज ऑल्सो देयर कंपनी इजीली ऑपरेट कर रहे वेरियस कंट्रीज में. सो राइट आंसर इज व्हाट? डी, ऑल ऑफ दी अबव. राइट आंसर आपका क्या होगा? डी होगा. चलिए, good morning everyone, welcome to official YouTube channel of Officers Adda 24/7. How are you all? So welcome to the channel, and in this particular session we will be discussing back to basic series of your IFS subject. As you know, Monday to Friday we all are meeting on only on Officers Adda 24/7, in which we are discussing back to basic series for IE and IFS subject. So the timing of this session will be 7:30 AM. It will be available from Monday to Friday for all of you. So now we have already covered 16 classes. So we have covered 16 classes of your IFS back to basic series, and today we are going to discuss that will be your 17th unit. It's what? It's your 17th, so not the unit, but the class. This is the 17th class in which the unit number 7 we will be discussing. That's the economic reform. If you remember, in the globalization we have discussed about it. So I have told you that globalization is a part of economic reforms, and this economic reform is known as liberalization, privatization, globalization, that we have already discussed. Now what they are, why they have been introduced, all of these we will be covering in this particular sessions of your. Okay, so this is a class number 17. If you guys have not watched the earlier 16 classes, then you can go and visit the playlist of Officers Adda 24/7. You will find the recording of each and every class there. Okay, and this is a unit number 7. You can say economic reform was happened in India in 1991, which changed India totally. And actually this economic reform have changed a lot of sectors. A lot of reforms have been seen, and each and every sector have been been impacted or affected because of the economic reform. Somehow this economic reform have given us a lot of advantages, lot of benefits, but yes, there is a certain disadvantages as well in the economic reform. If you remember, in the globalization, we have discussed the disadvantages of globalization, because of which the protectionism measure or protectionist measures have been introduced by the government of India. So similarly, now when we talk about the economic policy reforms or new economic policy, there are certain things which are not good for the national interest, and for that a certain protectionism measures will be used by the government of India time to time. Okay, so now let's continue the session here. Before continuing the session, I will be your mentor for IE, IFS subject and PPB for English medium sessions for your JAIIB May 2024 paper. Now you can see this is the module A. We are discussing about the economic reforms here. That's your unit number 7. Okay, now let's start. First of all, what actually the economic reform is? Economic reforms are the reforms that have been introduced to make India more capable of growing and developing itself. By having the certain new targets, by having the certain new partners in trade, so that we will be able to survive as well as we will be able to grow, and we will be able to provide the better livelihood to the people who are living in the country. So now, why this economic reform have been done? First of all, this economic reform is LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization. We know that. The last economic policy, or we can say the new economic policy that India have introduced, was in 1991 only. After that, no new economic policy was introduced. Okay. Now, if we're talking about economic reforms, what was the reason of introducing economic reform? So first of all, this is the LPG. Introduced in 1991. What was the need of introducing the economic reform? Why we have introduced the economic reform? So there are certain reasons. So first of all, the reason was fiscal deficit was increasing. Now what is fiscal deficit? If we are talking about fiscal deficit is the loss of government of India in the budget. So budget is the statement of income and expenditure of government of India for the upcoming financial year. And when in the budget, the expenditure is more than the revenue, is more than the income, in that situation, that is known as deficit. So fiscal deficit was increasing. It means government have taken a lot of borrowings, government have taken a lot of loan, that created a financial burden on the government, and the government was not capable of repaying of that loan. So that's why we have introduced the LPG, one of the reason. The second reason was inflation was rising continuously. Increase in inflation means prices were rising. So at that time in 1991, India reached to a galloping stage. 16% plus inflation was there in the country. If inflation is rising, it means prices are rising. If the prices are rising, it means your cost of living is increasing. To survive, you need to fulfill your basic needs. And those basic needs became costlier because the inflation was continuously rising. And the people were not able to survive in that situation. Let's say, for example, when the inflation was rising, I was not capable of fulfilling my needs, even my needs. So that was impacting the living standard of the people, as well as that will creating, or that impacted the money value of your currency. So whenever the inflation is rising, the money value decreases because the prices are increasing. By paying more money, you will be able to purchase less goods and services. That's why your money values keep decreasing when there is an inflation. So this is second reason of introducing economic reform. The third reason was there was a balance of payment crisis. Now what is balance of payment? Balance of payment is a systematic statement between India and rest of the world. So we know India do export, import, investment, tourism, grants, a lot of things are there. So between India and rest of the world, a certain type of economic transactions are going on in a financial year. When you maintain the record of those economic transactions, that is known as balance of payment. So balance of payment is a systematic statement of all the economic transactions between India and rest of the world in a financial year. Let's say, for example, economic transaction means the transactions which are related to money. And India and rest of the world having a lot of economic transaction in one financial year. That covers imports of goods and services, exports of goods and services, investment from India to abroad, from abroad to India, remittances from India to abroad, abroad to India, tourism that's coming from abroad to India and going outside from India to abroad, grants, the financial assistance you are getting, etc. So any kind of economic transaction which is happening between India and rest of the world in a one financial year, that will be recorded in a very systematic form, and that document is known as balance of payment. And when there is a balance of payment crisis, it means we have earned less and we have paid more in the balance of payment. Okay, so when the economic transaction were happening between India and the rest of the world, so we have seen that India have paid more money to the foreign countries in comparison to what India earned from the foreign countries. And where there we have seen the balance of payment crisis. One of the reason of introducing LPG. Next, fourth reason, because the balance of payment crisis were there, we were reached to a situation where the foreign currency reserves were decreasing. And it left only for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, we will not be, at the time, we will not be able to pay the import bills. Hana, at that time it has said that if you are not able to control the situation, after 2 weeks, India will not be able to pay its imports bill. Import means purchasing of goods and services from abroad. So when you are purchasing goods and services from abroad, it means you have to make payment in the foreign currency, and your foreign currency was left only for 2 weeks. After that, you won't be able to pay your import bills. And this situation was created because of the Gulf War. Now what happened? Gulf War happened, and after the Gulf War, we have seen the crude oil prices were continuously increasing at a very high phase. And India at that time, or still if we talk about India, India is a importer. India imports a large amount of crude oil in the country. And because of that, the foreign currency reserves were decreasing at that time, and the balance of payment crisis we have faced because a lot of money went outside the country for the purchase of crude oil. So Gulf War was one of the reasons. Then next we have seen public sector undertakings were in worst financial condition. They were in worse financial condition. So the government did not have money at that time, and that's why the public sector undertakings were not working properly. They did not have money to spend in the production of goods and services. They did not have money to provide employment in the country, or even to give salaries to the employees of there. So a lot of things were going on, and the public sector undertakings were not capable of producing and creating jobs and paying salaries to the employees. So their financial condition was very bad. After seeing all these issues, in the end, India went to World Bank and IMF and asked for a loan to help India. And in that situation, World Bank and IMF have put a condition in front of India that yes, we are ready to provide you the loan, but on a condition, if you do the economic reform. And that's where the condition of introducing LPG happens seen. So a lot of issues, all these issues we were facing in the country at the time of 1991. So when we went to the World Bank and IMF, because they are the international organization and India is the founder member of both. So we went to the international organization for asking help from them. So they said this, yes, India will get the help from World Bank and IMF, but only on the condition if you do the economic reform. If you change your economic policy, we are happy to help you out. If you are not changing the economic policies, then India will not get the loan. This was said by the World Bank and IMF, and on this condition, India have to introduce the LPG policy, and that's where the liberalization, privatization, globalization, or the economic reform happen in the country. Let's say if without any condition, World Bank and IMF was ready to give India the capital, the loan that India required, then there was a very less chances that India was introducing the LPG policy. Okay, so these are the 6 to 7 reasons why India have introduced the economic reform in 1991. And these reform was introduced by Dr. Manmohan Singh. He was the finance minister at that time under the government of Mr. Narasimha Rao. Okay, so these are the reasons. This was the need of introducing the economic reforms. Okay, do remember all the points. They are very important. Now, what economic reforms cover? It covers the liberalization, privatization and globalization. If I'm talking about liberalization, it do what? It remove the rules, regulations, or restrictions. So to remove rules, regulations, restrictions in the country, that's the liberalization. So liberalization made the license, permit and quota Raj a thing of a past. So license, permit and quota Raj have been removed by the liberalization. So in the liberalization, we are trying to make things very easy to be adopted. Hana, it means to start a business in India. If anybody wants to start a business in India, they will be easily able to do that. That's what the liberalization is trying to do. So liberalization simply means to remove rules, regulations, restrictions from a certain policies, or we can say certain norms that have been introduced by the government of India in the country. Okay, so that each and every person will be easily able to do the business in the country. Now, privatization means transferring the ownership or the management to private sector. From where? From the government sector. From the government, what we have done, we have transferred the ownership to the private sector. It means the government's share, the government's management, the government's ownership of a particular sector have been given to the private sector, the private industrialists. And that's where we have find out that India became the mixed economy. Because of the privatization, India became mixed economy, because now the government and private sector, they both are working in country. They both are eligible to take the major economic decisions in the country. Okay. Now, globalization means simply to link Indian economy, with world economies. With the world economies. So we have linked Indian economy with world economies. It means we have allowed economy to do export and import without any restriction. That made Indian economy an open economy. So liberalization means removing rules, regulations, restrictions. Privatization means transferring ownership to the private company. Then globalization means to start or to remove the hurdles and allow the country to do export and import in the country. And we linked Indian economy with the world economies. Or we have increased the dependency or interaction in cross-border transactions. Okay, so this is the basic understanding of your economic reform that we have discussed. Now we are going to practice certain questions on the same topic. So the first question in front of you is this, that is asking, what were the reason for introducing the economic reform in 1991? Out of these three reasons, which was the reason of introducing economic reform? The Gulf War, the negative balance of payment, the increase in fiscal deficit. So what do you think? Out of these three reasons, which one of them or which of the following is the right reason of introducing economic reform? A, B, C or D? And it's very obvious the right answer will be D. The Gulf War happened and the balance of payment was in the crisis situation. It means it was negative and the fiscal deficit was continuously increasing. So right answer will be your D option. Okay, next. The process of transferring ownership, management, control of a public sector partially or entirely to the private sector is known as. So you are transferring the ownership, the management, the control from government to private sector. It can be partially done, it can be fully done. Which of the following term defines this statement? Is it a globalization? Is it a liberalization? Is it a privatization? Is it a none of the above? So it's very obvious it's a privatization when you partially or fully transfer the ownership, the management, the control to the private sector. It's a privatization. So right answer is C. Okay. Next, which is not one of the primary pillars of 1991 economic reform. So out of these, which of the following is not one of the primary pillar? Automation, liberalization, globalization, privatization. So I think it's a very simple question because we know economic reform is known as LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization. So automation is not a part of your economic reform. So right answer will be your A option. Okay, right answer is what? It's a A option. Now, Next we have, which of the following concept was not a part of the economic reforms under the new economic policy in 1991? Centralization, liberalization, globalization, privatization. So now when I talk about national economic policy or new economic policy, that was last introduced in 1991. So we know LPG is a part of your new economic policy. So it's very obvious the right answer is A. Now, about centralization. Centralization is a power, that have been there in the planning commission. When we are going to study the economic planning in country now, we will study the planning commission and Niti Aayog, and there we will study what actually the centralized power is. In the short, if I explain you here, centralized power is the power in which the single authority, there is one authority, this authority have all the power to decide what to do, how to do, where to do, etc. Everything is this authority is deciding, and this authority will take the decision and will share with the other authorities, like in the planning commission used to happen. The central government used to make all the plans, and it was only and the plan used to be ordered or suggested or have to be applied by the state and union territory as well. So planning, in the planning commission, central government used to make the plan and states and union territory have to follow them, all the plans. And state and union territory, they did not have any kind of option to give their suggestions or give their feedback in the centralized planning. So centralized planning means one authority have been decided, that authority is deciding what to do, when to do, how to do, and you just have to follow that. You do not have any kind of authority to give your suggestion, to give your feedback or anything else. Okay, so that was the centralized power. And in the Niti Aayog, we have a decentralized power. In the Niti Aayog, the other parties are involved in the decision making. Clear? So right answer is A here. Now, which of the following has occurred in India after the liberalization of economic policy in 1991? So what changes or what happened after the liberalization? The share of agriculture in GDP increased. The share of India's exports in world trade increased. FDI inflow increased. India's foreign exchange reserve increased. So what do you think? Which of the following is correct? Which of the following have occurred in India after its liberalization of economic policy? A, B, C or D? So see, I have told you in the globalization as well that the most benefit we have seen from the globalization, that the foreign capital inflow. It means it is very true the FDI inflow was increased. And if the foreign capital was coming from abroad to India, it means very obvious the foreign exchange reserve was increasing. Third and fourth is correct. The second is saying share of India increased to the export. That is also true. In the world export, India's share increased. That is also true. But this is not. Agriculture shares is decreasing after the liberalization. And the service sector contribution is increasing. So agriculture contribution is decreasing. So right answer will be B. Second, third and fourth. Not the first one. But second, third and fourth is correct in context to the what happened in India after the liberalization. So right answer will be B option. Okay, next. Narasimhan Committee on Financial Sector Reform is related to which sector? Insurance, banking, capital market or money market. Now do remember, Narasimhan Committee is very much important. Narasimhan Committee 1 and Narasimhan Committee 2 is there. They have given the financial sector reform. These reform we will be studying in the module C, unit number 20, Indian financial system. What recommendation have been given by the Narasimhan Committee 1 and what recommendation have been given by the Narasimhan Committee 2. Both are very important. That's a part of your module C syllabus. We have to cover that. But now here you have to remember that the financial sector reform that the Narasimhan Committee have given, it was related to banking sector. It was related to what? It was related to banking sector. And these reforms, when we talk about these reforms have what? Like the reduce the CRR, SLR, increase the supervisory review of banking system, increase the competition by creating private sector bank. These were the recommendation. A lot of other recommendation was also there. That was given by the Narasimhan Committee in the banking sector. Okay, so right answer is B. Next question is, what was the primary outcome of liberalization and privatization initiative under the new economic policy in 1991 followed by the Indian government? So the primary outcome we have seen of liberalization and privatization was what? The fiscal policy reforms, the globalization, the monetary policy reform, or none of the above. So I guess answer is very clear. It is globalization, because in the liberalization we have removed the rules, regulation, restriction, and in privatization we allowed the private company to work in India. It have its primary outcome that the globalization was possible to do. Okay, so the right answer will be your B. That is globalization. Now, which of the following arguments are made in favor of privatization of a country's economy? Which of the following arguments are made in what? Are made in favor of privatization. First, it helps to revive public sector unit. It creates a competitive environment for business. It helps to protect the sovereignty of a consumer. So what do you think? Which of the following argument was given in context or in favor of the privatization in India? Like, which of the following statements justify that it is good if we do the privatization in country? And the right answer will be all, because actually the private sector help us to revive the sick public sector units. They create the competitive environment in the country. They protect the sovereignty of countries, consumer. So that's why right answer will be D. All statements were in the favor of privatization. Okay, now what is the full form of LQP system? So LQP system have been removed in the liberalization. Now it became a thing of a past because it was removed by the liberalization. So it stands for what? License, permit and quota raj. It means right answer will be A. License, quota, permit. Okay, so right answer is your A. LQP. Do remember this. This is very important. Now, which of the following was not a part of a structural adjustment program under the new economic policy? So, which of the following is not a structural adjustment program? The fiscal reform, the tax reform, the balance of payment adjustment, the industrial reform. Not a structural adjustment program that have been done under the NEP. So, it's very obvious balance of payment is not one of them. The balance of payment is not the structural adjustment plan in the new economic policy 1991. So right answer will be C. Okay, so now let me know how many answers you guys have given correct here. Let me know that. Apart from that, if you guys are watching a recorded session, do let me know in the comment section how many answers you have given correct. Also, if you have any doubt regarding economic reform or anything what we are discussing in the session, you can ask in the comment section. Okay, so let's start here. Now, apart from that, if you want a dedicated batch in which you will be able to cover the topic with the conceptual understanding, so you can see that the PPB comprehensive, the comprehensive batch in which all the 4 subjects are there, and the PPB have been started from 20th of November. In the same batch, I will be starting IE IFS from 8th of December as well. Okay, and in all these batches, you will get the conceptual live classes plus 24/7 recording will be available for all of you. Topic-wise test series will be available, full-length mock test will be available, and you will get everything ebook also. So these are the 5 benefits you will get in each Sankalp batch of yours. Similarly, all these 5 benefits will be there in the Mahapack, plus it will have all the future batches as well. So if you purchase the JAIIB Mahapack 2.0, if the revision batch, power pack batch, or whatever batch in the future is coming, it will be added in your Mahapack. And if you are right now enrolled in the Sankalp batch, in future you have to pay differently. You have to pay for the other batches to enroll there. Okay, and how to enroll? The process of enrollment is same. Just go to the 24/7 application, then go to the exam category JAIIB CIB, go to the JAIIB May 2024, click on view all option, and you will find all the batches here. Individual subject batch, comprehensive batch, Mahapack, everything is there. How to enroll? Just click on the product. Do check the offerings here. You can decide the validity as per your convenience. Then click on the buy now option. If you want a maximum discount of 81%, you can use the code Y496. Apply this code and you can see 80% discount is there. But 1% additional discount will be available if you use the coins available in application. So this is the code that will give you 81% discount, and in the Mahapack right now double validity is also there. So double validity, 81% discount is there if you use the code Y496, and this is how you can enroll here. Okay. Now, IEIFS batch is starting from when? It is starting from 8th of December. Clear? And the same process is there if you want to enroll in the Sankalp batch. In the Sankalp batch, you will get 9 months validity. Here you are getting 1 year validity. And the price difference will be around 1500 or something. Okay. So this is how you can enroll in the Mahapack or the Sankalp batch. Clear? Apart from that, if you have any kind of doubt, do let me know. So first, download the Adda 24/7 application and then do subscribe the channel Offices Adda 24/7 so that all the upcoming sessions notification will be given to you. Okay. Apart from that, for IEIFS subject, regular classes back to basic series, we are having the sessions in the morning, Monday to Friday at 7:30 a.m. And the same back to basic series have been started for Principles and Practice of Banking. The sessions of Principles and Practice of Banking is going on at 7 a.m. only on Offices Adda 24/7. So do not forget to join both the session at 7 and 7:30 a.m. for your PPB and IEIFS respectively. Okay. So this is all for today. Thank you all for joining the session and take care. Have a good day, everyone.